They attempted to shatter you. They believed that if they pushed long enough, that if they insulted you long enough, that if they threw enough roadblocks in your way, you'd buckle under the pressure of it all. Perhaps for a second you did. Perhaps you wept yourself to sleep. Perhaps you doubted your worth. Perhaps you felt that stinging pang of rejection, of being misinterpreted, of being underestimates. Hurt seemed endless, didn't it? Nearly impossible to bear. But here's the thing, pain is temporary. Your spirit, your soul, the real you, that's permanent. And nobody, no matter how cruel and heartless, take that away from you. Pain has a way of feeling like it lasts forever when we're living in it. When you're heartbroken, it feels like you'll never be able to smile again. When you're broke, you're convinced you're going to be broke forever. When you're humiliated, you're convinced that shame will always be with you. But it doesn't. Time passes. The wound heals. The body heals. The mind adjusts. Once intolerable eventually becomes a scar, a narrative, a lesson, and the person you've become as a result of it. That's the part that lasts. Consider your own life for a moment. Consider the moments you believed you were done, moments when you believed, I just can't take this anymore. And yet you're here. You made it through. That moment wasn't permanent. You may not have realized it then, but you were being trained, tempered, tried, and each test offered you a choice. Let it determine you as broken, or let it make your spirit stronger. The individuals who attempt to destroy you don't realize. They may cause you pain, yes. They may criticize, they may ostracize, they may tell lies, they may betray. But pain is a message. It's transitory. Fades away. What does not fade away is the lesson you learn from it, the strength you gain, the choice you make about who you are when you are faced with it. That lasts. I remember having worked with individuals who had endured unimaginable inhumanity, abuse, betrayal, loss. And I would ask them, how did you survive? How did you not allow that to break you? And nearly every time they said the same thing, because I did not allow that pain to define me. Because I knew deep inside there was something more in me than what I was experiencing. That's the kind of spirit I am referring to. Part no one can shatter. And here's the catch, pain is usually the one that stirs our soul. You'd never know how tough you are if it weren't for pain. You'd never know your value isn't subjective if it weren't for rejection. You'd never know success is a byproduct of hard work, not ability, if it weren't for failure. So when cruelty arrives, when they try to shatter you, when you get the bite of injustice, don't wonder, why me? Wonder, what is this turning me into? Don't say, this hurt will go on forever. Say, this hurt will pass. The person I am transformed into will last forever. The fact is, those people that attempted to shatter you, they only accelerated your evolution. They hardened you. They seasoned you. They made you empathetic in ways you would never have been if you'd never known hardship yourself. They believed that they were annihilating you, but in reality, they were molding a spirit that is unbreakable. So the next time you experience pain, keep in mind it's temporary. It's not who you are. Who you are is for keeps. Who you are is unbreakable. And that's why regardless of what they throw at you, how much they try, they'll fall short because your spirit is made to last. Each and every one of us experiences hardship. Some of you have had it from the day you were born, stepped right into it when life caught you off guard. Perhaps it was betrayal. Perhaps it was loss. Perhaps it was poverty. Perhaps it was people saying to you, you'll never make it. Whatever shape it took, adversity arrived uninvited, relentless. And in that instant, you had a decision, allow it to define you as broken or allow it to mold you into someone stronger, wiser, and more unstoppable than you were before. Adversity is not an obstacle. It's a sculptor. It shapes away the weak spots in us, cutting out a stronger version of who we are supposed to be. Consider a diamond. Diamond doesn't sparkle because it had a cushy, easy life. It sparkles because it was subjected to unimaginable pressure. That pressure didn't kill it, it made it. The same with you. You might not know it when you're in the midst of it, when you're awake in the middle of the night, when you're sobbing quietly. You're waging wars no one observes. You don't get the sense that your identity is being crafted. You get the sense that it's being broken. But here's the thing, identity isn't forged in ease. It's forged in adversity. It's not who you are when everything works out in your favor. It's who you are when it all comes crashing down. That's when the true you wakes up. Remember the toughest times in your life, breakups, the losses, the disappointments, the lies. They were intolerable when they were happening, but didn't each of them leave you wiser? Didn't they toughen you up? Didn't they school you to stand higher, speak louder, to fight harder? That's adversity at work, forming you into someone with character, substance, and depth. The individuals who attempted to shatter you believed that they were shattering your identity. What they did not realize is that each disdainful utterance, each failure, each moment of uncertainty was piling on another layer of resilience to you. They were not destroying you. They were constructing the pieces of you that could not be purchased, could not be fabricated, be stolen. They were constructing resilience. Life does not serve up identity to you on a silver platter. You don't learn who you truly are by drifting along when everything is going smoothly. You learn it when you are pushed into a corner and you must fight your way out. You learn it when you lose everything you believed that you needed and you find that you were greater than all of it put together. Is when you encounter yourself. That's when your true identity is forged. And let me share something with you. When challenges mold you, they bestow on you something no one can ever take away. Tangible, a story. People relate to tales of hardship, not perfection. You can encourage people not because you've never been shattered, but because you've been shattered and refused to remain that way. You can raise people not because you never stumbled, but because you stumbled 1,000 times and kept getting back up. Then next time that life challenges you, do not ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this making of me? Do not regard adversity as your enemy. Regard it as the fire that refines your steel. Because when you emerge on the other side of the fire, you do not just carry scars. You carry strength. You carry wisdom. You carry an identity that no cruelty can take from you. And here's the truth. They attempted to shatter you. They didn't realize that each attempt only made you stronger. They believed they were ending your book. What they failed to understand is that challenge was merely scripting your subsequent chapter. This chapter, the one you're embarking on now, is the one where you rise. Let's be honest. Individuals can be cruel. They can cut you with words that cut deeper than knives. They can betray you, reject you, gossip about you, try to humiliate you in public. And yes, it hurts. Don't ever let anyone make you feel like it doesn't. Words have the power to hurt. Rejection can be a body blow. Here's what you need to remember. While they can hurt you, they can never define you. Their thinking is not your truth. Their mean-spiritedness is not your identity. You are not what they name you. You are not the box they attempt to fit you into. You are not the error they cannot forgive you for. You are not their rejection, their judgment, their labels. They can hurt you. The meaning of that suffering is yours. Consider this: how many individuals throughout history have been informed that they'd never make anything of themselves? Disney was sacked from a newspaper for not being imaginative. Oprah Winfrey was informed that she was not suited for the television. Thomas Edison was told by his teachers that he was too dumb to learn. Think if they had listened to those voices. Think if they had allowed those words to shape their identities. We wouldn't even know their names today. That's the snare we all fall into. We substitute someone else's opinion for our own truth. We begin mimicking their words in our own mind. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I really am a failure. But realize this: the second you let someone else define you, you surrender your power. You give them the pen to write your story. And the fact is, only you ought to have that pen. Yes, they can hurt you. They can bruise your heart. They can shake your confidence. But those wounds don't determine who you are. You do. You define yourself with the decisions you make after the pain. Do you shrink back and take their definition of you, or do you rise up and tell them, no, that's not who I am. That's not who I'm going to be? Tell you, sometimes the greatest revenge isn't anger or showing them wrong. It's living so completely, so honestly, that their judgments don't matter. When you flourish despite them, you create a life on your own terms. When you ascend in ways they didn't anticipate, you render their cruelty powerless. So when somebody says to you, you'll never make it, don't fight with them. Smile and continue building. When somebody says you're not good enough, don't debate. Just demonstrate to yourself that you are. When somebody attempts to categorize you as weak, broken, good enough, don't burn energy trying to convince them otherwise. Spend that energy making your own stronger. Because here's the truth, you are not the name they called you, are not the failure they celebrated. You are not the rejection letter, the broken relationship, the gossip, or the betrayal. You are far more. You are potential. You are resilience. You are possibility in human form. And when you realize that, when you know in your heart that they don't own you, you reclaim your power. You stop existing to prove them wrong. You begin to exist to prove yourself right. That's when you become unstoppable. So keep this in mind. They can hurt you. They can cut you with cruelty. But they can never define you unless you allow them. The day you stop letting them, the day you decide that only you get to define your worth, your path, your destiny, that's the day their power over you dies. That's the day you rise. Life will test you. People will test you. Circumstances you never saw coming will knock the wind out of you. And here's the hard truth. Most of the time, you can't control what happens. You can't dictate whether someone betrays you. You can't dictate whether you're laid off. You can't dictate whether a loved one departs or if you blow something you gave your heart to. The cruelty, the rejection, the setbacks, they're inevitable. But here's what you do have control over: your reaction. That's where your true power resides. They see most people existing as if their emotions, their fate, whole identity is in the hands of whatever occurs to them. Someone disses them and they're irate for days. Something doesn't go according to their plan and they give up. Someone denies them, begin doubting themselves. They give their power over to the situation, to individuals who don't even factor into the grand picture of their life. But what if you quit doing that? What if you made it a point that though you can't always control what happens, you always get to control your response? Think about this. Two people go through the exact same hardship. Maybe both lose their job. Maybe both get betrayed by someone they trusted. Maybe both get told no 100 times. One person gives up, gets bitter, blames the world. The other person says, all right, this hurts, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to rise from this. Same situation, different response. And that response makes all the difference. You must have heard accounts of people who've experienced unimaginable suffering, war, poverty, violence, and somehow emerged from it with wisdom, compassion, even happiness. How? Because their suffering was less than yours, because of the way they reacted to it. They did not allow cruelty to make them cruel. They did not allow suffering to make them bitter. They chose, this will not break me. This will make me stronger. And that's the decision in front of you every single day. You can't control the insults, but you can control whether you buy into them. You can't control the rejection, but you can control whether you give up trying. You can't control the storm, but you can control whether you let it drown you or teach you how to navigate. When you understand this, when you really get it, you stop living as a victim. You stop giving your happiness, your identity, your future to people who don't deserve to have that kind of hold on you. You take it back. You take the wheel. I want you to consider something. What would your life be like if you chose from today forward that nothing on the outside determines what's on the inside? Be like if you chose courage over fear, forgiveness over bitterness, perseverance over giving up, no matter what you experience. That's not denial. That's not walking around saying pain does not exist. That's having the one thing nobody can ever take away from you, your response. The fact is, the folks who attempt to destroy you, they're seeking a reaction, want you to break. They want you to question yourself. That's how cruelty succeeds. But when you select your response, when you keep calm, when you rise, when you continue to build no matter what, they lose time. So yes, pain arrives, cruelty does, but your authority isn't in stopping it. Your authority is in standing and declaring, this might hurt, but it won't break me. I choose who I am. Choose what this means. I choose where I go next. And making that choice, that reaction, is the difference between staying flat and rising higher than ever before. Because ultimately, what they do to you that determines your life, it's how you react. And if you decide strength, if you decide courage, if you decide to grow, then whatever they throw against you, you can't be broken. There's something that people don't know. Cruelty is energy. The insults, the rejection, the betrayal, all energy, and you get a choice to allow that energy to poison you, to turn it into fuel to take you where you need to go. The ones who sought to shatter you, they believed that their brutalities would dry up inside of you. What they did not realize was that with every attempt to push you down, they were actually giving you strength. They were offering you the very fuel you needed to soar higher. Consider a fire for an instant. Pour water on it and you extinguish it, but pour wood on it, pour fuel on it, and it intensifies, it burns, it cannot be contained. That's what happens when you know how to make cruelty fuel. The same language that was used to intimidate you becomes the encouragement to work that much harder. The rejection that was supposed to end your dreams becomes the drive to prove to yourself that you're unstoppable. Some of the most successful, powerful, influential people in history didn't rise in spite of cruelty. They rose because of it. Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. He could have let that define him, but instead he turned it into fuel. Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 27 years. He might have allowed bitterness to define him, but instead he used that agony as the fuel of freedom, of justice, of transformation that inspired the world. And you possess that same ability. Cruel things you've ever heard, all the times people questioned you, all the times you were laughed at, dismissed, excluded. You can choose to walk around carrying that around as a weight. You can incinerate it as fuel. Imagine how your life shifts when each insult is a spark, when each rejection is gasoline for the flame. Each failure is no longer a reason to give up, but the exact reason you go harder. The truth is, cruelty only weakens you if you allow it to inside, if you let yourself believe it, if you let yourself carry it around like a burden. But the second you turn the switch and say, I'm going to utilize this, I'm going to let this motivate me, everything shifts. You cease to be a victim of cruelty and begin to be powered by it. And look at the gorgeous irony. The same people who attempted to shatter you are the cause of your rise. Their betrayal makes you independent. Their dismissal makes you more focused. Their insults fuel your determination. And without realizing it, they are included in your triumph. For every time they uttered, "You can't," you said, Watch me. Now let me be straightforward. This does not mean you dwell in anger. It doesn't mean you live your life trying to prove others wrong. That's still giving them power. Taking cruelty and turning it into fuel means you use the energy, but you reroute it. You don't win by spite. You win by purpose. You come up to prove them. You come up to prove yourself what you're worth. And when you live like that, cruelty is not so stinging. Instead of weighing you down, it lifts you up. Instead of shattering you, strengthens you. Instead of being the thing that marked your demise, it becomes the flame that sparks your start. So the next time you have someone attempting to do you harm, don't spend your time fighting them. Spend your energy harboring resentment. Just smile, silently thank them for the gas, and return to business. Because the best revenge, the sweeter triumph, isn't disproving them. It's living a life so strong, purposeful, so conclusive that their meanness is inconsequential. That is how you triumph. That's how you use pain to drive progress, cruelty to fuel your fire, rejection to build resilience. That's why regardless of what they throw at you, they will not succeed, because you've converted each weapon into fuel for your blaze. At the end of the day, this is what it ultimately boils down to. Victory doesn't belong to the strongest body, the wealthiest bank account, or the loudest voice. Victory belongs to the unbreakable mind. Individuals who attempted to shatter you believed that strength was muscles, power, control, or status. They believed if they took away your resources, your support, your confidence, you'd fall apart. Failed to realize is that the real war isn't out here, it's in here. And when your mind won't break, nothing and no one can hold you back. Consider it. History is packed with individuals who didn't possess the blatant advantages. They didn't have money, contacts, or power. What they did have was an unbreakable mind. They refused to give up. They refused to accept the constraints others set for them. They refused to allow conditions determine their future. And because of that, they accomplished the impossible. Your mind is your strongest weapon ever. It can imprison you or set you free. If you allow cruelty, doubt, and failure to take hold of your mind, you will live in chains for all eternity. If you really choose that nothing is going to break you, then each obstacle is a stepping stone, each insult irrelevant, each setback temporary. The unbreakable mind does not imply that you never hurt, does not imply that you do not cry, that you are not afraid, that you never fall. No, it implies that you feel the hurt and you move anyway. You feel the fear, but you do not let it immobilize you. You fall, won't stay down. That's what makes a mind unbreakable. It is not perfection, but persistence. Take a look at your own life. Each time you felt you couldn't continue, yet somehow persisted, that was your unbreakable mind working for you. Each time you were rejected, yet persisted in knocking on doors, that was your unbreakable mind. Each time you felt small, unnoticed, not good enough, something within you heard, not yet. Carry on. That was your unbreakable mind not giving up. And here's the truth. They can steal your belongings. They can assault your reputation. They can even break your heart. But if your mind is unbreakable, you win, because nobody can strip away your will. Nobody can strip away your choice to keep getting up, can strip away the meaning you choose to give your pain. That is victory, and it belongs only to those who refuse to break. When you get that, you no longer measure your power by how many times you succeed. You begin to measure it by how many times you get up. You no longer view obstacles as evidence of weakness, and you begin to view them as training for toughness. You no longer fear failure because you understand that failure can't break an unbreakable mind. It can only make it better. So let me ask you, what's your choice? Will you let cruelty define you, or will you let your mind rise above it? Will you let the world convince you that you're broken, or will you prove to yourself that you are unbreakable? Because here's the thing I know: they attempted to shatter you. They believed you'd surrender, believed they had control over you, but the triumph is already yours. Not because life was just, not because they ceased being cruel, but because you constructed a mind they were unable to demolish. That's the supreme power. That's the supreme vengeance. That's the supreme triumph. Because ultimately, they will lose. Not because they didn't work hard enough, but because you would not break. When your mind won't break, when your spirit won't fade, when your ability to bounce back is tempered in the flames of hardship, there is no obstacle on this planet that can get in your way. Somewhere down the line, you come to understand something greater than yourself. You're not fighting cruelty just for yourself. You're building a legacy with every time you resist the break, with every time you decide to get up. You're writing a book that people will turn to when they feel they are broken. Your kids, your friends, your town, perhaps even strangers whom you'll never know, will find strength in how you walk through suffering. Consider this the names we remember best in history, the people who motivate us. They weren't the ones who had easy lives. They were the ones who had to deal with cruelty, injustice, and suffering, and they refused to let it define them. Their legacy wasn't forged in times of ease. It was forged in times of fire. And that's your truth as well. Someday, someone will read your story. They'll look at your scars. They'll know what you endured. And they'll whisper, if they made it through that, maybe I can too. That's legacy. That's impact. That's the ripple effect of not being broken. Because see, cruelty passes. The voices that taunted you, one day they will be muted. The individuals who attempted to destroy you, one day they will be forgotten. But your tale, your resilience, that remains, that inspires. So don't just rise for yourself. Rise for the people who are looking up. Rise for the people who need to believe it can be done. Rise for the people who are about to give up. But when they look at you, they'll see a reason not to. Because sometimes the best thing you can do for the world is not your success, it's your resilience. And when you live like that, when you move with power not simply for your own triumph, but for the hope of others, you discover something compelling. The people who attempted to shatter you did not simply fail at breaking you. They inadvertently assisted in crafting a legacy that will survive them. That is how you win. Is how you're unstoppable, because cruelty can damage, but cruelty can be loud, but legacy rings on and on forever. Your legacy, the tale of one who wouldn't be broken, will always be more than their cruelty. When you've endured cruelty, when you've been rejected, doubted, betrayed. There comes a moment where you finally learn something. True freedom isn't found in what others give you, but in what they can no longer take away from you. The one thing no one can take away is your decision to be unbreakable. That's the ultimate freedom. Consider that. Most individuals stay in cages they do not even perceive. Cages constructed of fear of judgment, of other people's opinions, of wounds in their past. They allow cruelty to write their codes, define their worth, govern their decisions. And for that reason, they never really live. They live, but they do not live. But the instant you resolve, I cannot be broken, all those cages vanish. You no longer fear rejection because you've already experienced it and you're still standing. You no longer fear failure because you know failure doesn't kill you. It makes you bigger. You no longer live small because you're afraid of criticism, because you come to understand that no matter what you do, someone will criticize. That's liberty. The highest freedom is waking up in the morning and declaring, I am not what happened to me. I am not what they said about me. I am not what cruel people do to me. I am what the strength of my own spirit makes me. That's indestructible. And when you live invincible, you live in a different way. You cease to respond to life and you begin to create it. You cease to ask permission and you begin to act. You cease to question if I fall, and you begin to wonder, what if I soar? You live with courage. You love with abandon. You dream larger than anyone ever imagined. And the lovely thing, your freedom does not only free you, it frees everyone around you. Folks watch you living unbreakable, and suddenly they think they can do it too. Two, they watch you emerge from cruelty, and they know their pain does not have to destroy them. Your freedom makes theirs. So get this, the final triumph. The ultimate response to all cruel speech, all failure, all turmoil is freedom. Freedom to be you. Freedom to ascend. Freedom to live without fear of being shattered because you already know you can't be. And that's why they'll fail. That's why cruelty will always lose. Regardless of what they throw your way, you've taken the one thing no one can ever take away, your unbreakable spirit. And when you live from there, you are untouchable. You are unstoppable. You are free. When people attempt to break you, it's never ever about the hurt they inflict in the moment. It's about control. It's about their blueprint for you to keep you small, quiet, uncertain, needy. Here's the truth they'll never understand. Your purpose is greater than their plan. Every single living being has a purpose they're here for. It's not a coincidence. It's not a mistake. You were born with something within you that no cruelty, no backstabbing, no failure can take away. That purpose, it's your North Star, it's your fuel, it's your fate. And when you find it, when you begin living for it, no one's effort to shatter you can prevail. See, when you don't know why you're here, the cruelty of others can rock you. Their words sound like truth to you. Rejection feels like confirmation that you don't fit. But when you know why you are here, when you know what your life is intended to give, their plans don't matter anymore. Cruelty just becomes white noise. Consider all the great leaders, the world changers, the individuals who motivated generations. Do you believe they experienced less cruelty than you? No, there was more. They were ridiculed, resisted, incarcerated, even despised. But their mission was much larger than the suffering, much larger than the resistance, and no matter what happened, it could not deter them. You don't have to be a celebrity to live with that level of purpose. Your purpose may be raising kids who become leaders. Your purpose may be making art that heals hearts. Purpose may be launching a business, giving back to your community, advising someone in need of advice. Whatever it is, it's not small. And it is decidedly, without doubt, greater than meanness of anyone who seeks to make you small. This is what happens when you live with purpose. Cruelty loses its power. Because while they're busy trying to bring you down, busy creating something that lasts longer than they do, while they're casting a shadow of doubt, you're casting a shadow of impact. While they're skimming your demise, you're living your mission. Purpose always outlives pain, always. So let them attempt, let them ridicule, deride, spurn for their intention, for you can never be greater than the purpose that lies within. They're playing checkers. You're playing chess. They're living in the moment. You're constructing immortality. And one day, if you look back, you will understand something profound. Each act of cruelty was not only a means of trying to crush you, but also a reminder of just how unstoppable your purpose truly was. Because if it wasn't powerful, they would not have worked so hard to silence it. So hold your ground, hold the line, live with courage, because your purpose is larger than their scheme. And that is why they will always, always fail. After everything you've been through, after all the cruelty, rejection, the betrayal, here's the truth: you're still here. And if you're still here, it means your story isn't over. It means the best chapters haven't even been written yet. They tried to break you. Instead, they built you. They attempted to bury you, but they did not know that you were a seed. And now it is time to rise. This is the call. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now. Comes a point in every life when you cease to look back at who injured you and begin to look ahead to who you are becoming. And this is your moment. Yes, pain molded you. Yes, polished you. Yes, their meanness scarred you. But scars are evidence that you made it through. Scars are evidence that you recovered. Scars are evidence that they lost. And those scars, they aren't bad, gorgeous, because they're a testament to someone who refused to give up. But listen to me here, surviving isn't enough. Don't just survive, live. Don't just hang on, thrive. Just rise up again. Rise so high they can't even see you anymore, because the world doesn't need another tale of some person who was broken and remained broken. The world needs your tale of resilience, redemption, of unbreakable strength. So rise for you. Rise for everyone who ever doubted you. Rise for the people who are waiting, hoping, praying that you show it's possible. Rise because every failure was secretly preparing you for this very moment. And get this is not the end of the battle. This is the start of a new existence. One in which you are free, in which you are unshakable, one in which your calling is greater than their cruelty, your intellect is greater than their words, and your spirit is unbreakable by anything they send your way. They attempted to crush you, but here you stand alive, standing ready, and now it's your turn to rise, your turn to shine, your turn to step into who you were meant to be. Victory is for those that won't give up. And that, my friend, is you. So rise higher, rise stronger, rise louder, rise, not for what they tried to take from you, but for all that you are going to take. This is just the beginning. And the world has no idea what's next.